Right 10.
Right 10.
East to 5.
East to 5. Carter's right 5.
Midship.
Midship. Carter's midship.
And 1 more.
I hope you enjoyed today's thumbnail. It was found, I found that picture actually on my last ship, and it was also spread over around to this ship. So looking at it, you know, it's funny because what my friends think I do, and it shows a picture of a yacht. Well, generally speaking, especially in the Pacific Northwest area, Washington, most people, when I tell them I work on ships, they automatically assume I'm talking about the fishing ships or the crabbing ships that are up in Alaska. And then I have to reiterate, no, I work on container ships, like big ships. And then I tell them I steer, and they're like, well, they don't really believe me, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, whatever. You know, the what my mom thinks I do, and they have an aircraft carrier here. My mom doesn't think that way, but you know what society thinks I do, and they got 2 military guys pointing guns. Yeah, in a way, you know. When I tell people I'm a merchant marine, I tell them I'm either a sailor or a merchant mariner, because when I first started saying merchant marine, they always thought U.S. Marine. So now I just tell them I'm a civilian sailor. What the engineers think I do? There's actually a counter picture of this, like merchant marine engine officers, and the picture that I believe was on there, like what the deck thinks I do for the engineers was just like a light switch. So but it's a sinking ship. Okay. What I think I do, some officer with, you know, a big old octopus thing hanging off his shoulders, and then the what I really do, and that's standing watch on the bridge, or if I'm coming into port, I'm steering, and you can see in the picture, you saw in the picture, the AB is just standing right in front of the helm. Because even on watch, while, you know, as a lookout, you know, when we change courses, I have to reach around to the helm, turn the knob, and adjust the autopilot to whatever new course is given to me by the officer that is on watch. So I figured I'd share that with you because today's topic is going to be something juicy, I think. First, again, I apologize, I didn't make yesterday's video. So if you're wondering where yesterday's video is, because sometimes I'm missing videos, and if you guys and gals don't know, I do have a Patreon account where I put missing videos, exclusive stories, Q&As, the link's down below. But yesterday, I generally just missed it. We advanced clocks yesterday. I was tired, I just didn't get to it. Today though, along with what, you know, what society really thinks we do, what all of you might think sailing is, you know, becoming a sailor, you know, even when I was in the program, the notion and the thought of, oh, we're gonna make a lot of money, we're gonna travel the world, you know, we're gonna have these long vacations. 2 of those are true. 1 of them is semi-true. Okay, and I actually got this question recently from somebody who was thinking about joining the maritime industry, and you know, they live in the US, and they were thinking, you know, oh, isn't, you know, most trade foreign ships now? And so do you even really travel abroad to different exotic places in different countries? And my question is, yeah, there's still ships that travel abroad to exotic exotic places and to other countries. I've met guys that have been all over. I've known people that were in the program that went all over, to Europe, to Asia, South America, Africa, you know, all over. But it's not exactly what you think. So I've said this in the beginning, you know, so if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share. But in my earlier videos when I first started this channel, I talked about how going ashore is a sacrifice. Right now we can't because of, you know, COVID times and whatnot. We're restricted to the ship. But when we are able to go ashore, it's a sacrifice. First off, a normal operating ship, like this ship, Roro, we're only in port for about 9 hours. And in that 9-hour period, somewhere in there, I gotta work at least a partial of my 4 to 8 hours of my mandatory watch. And am I gonna get overtime? You know, do I want to work the overtime? Sometimes there's more overtime than just docking. But so say on here you got 9 hours, I'm working at, we'll say, at least 4 hours of that 9 hours. What, am I gonna take a taxi somewhere? How long is that taxi ride gonna be? So theoretically I might only have 5 hours, you know, 5-6 hours to be in a port somewhere. That's really not a lot of time, okay? And on top of that, that time that you're in, you know, traveling around the town or the city, typically that's time that you might need to sleep, because pulling into the port, you might have got woken up during your normal sleep hours to do the docking. And then for me, I get woken up, do the docking, have to go to watch, I get off watch, and then I have a few hours off, but I just lost 2 hours of my, on here, I'm lucky if I get like 5.5 hours of sleep, and I'm lucky to get up to 6. I mean, my whole sleep period is from 8 to basically 3, so I get a 7-hour period. I get off at 8 o'clock. I'm not going to bed straight at 8 o'clock. Usually I'm getting in bed 9:30. I'm lucky to be asleep by 9:30, 10 o'clock. So 10 to 3, that's 5 hours. So if you're, now think, if I went to bed, if I was able to fall asleep right at 9 o'clock, you know, I get off at 8, go to sleep right at 9, that's a 6-hour window to 3. Well, they're gonna call me out at 1:30 for docking. So that's 4.5 hours of sleep. And then I do my watch, you know, from 4 to 8. I get off at 8. Okay, I'm not gonna work overtime. I'm gonna go see the town. I still have to be back by 3:30 for my second watch. Well, I'm only running on 4 hours of sleep. So, okay, I go explore the town on 4 hours of sleep. I get back, I do my watch again, thinking that we're gonna be in the port longer than 9 hours, you know, but I do my watch again from 1600 to whenever, say 8. Well, then we're undocking. Undocking can take up to 2, sometimes 3 hours, but say I get done with my watch at 8, they might not undock till 9. That means I'm awake till 11. So the 4.5 hours of sleep I got the day before, and then went to watch, decided to go to town and not sleep during the day. I'm still running on 4 hours of sleep. I go to watch again, we undock the ship. I get another 2 hours of undocking, that's, you know, 10, 11 o'clock, but then I have to be up at 3 a.m. again. So you're sacrificing your sleep. Okay, now there's other ways of doing it where, you know, if I did sacrifice my sleep, I'm only getting that 5-6 hours in a port. Now there's ways where ABs on watch will cover each other's watches, right? So maybe I cover half of, or say somebody covers half of my watch, my afternoon watch. So instead of having to get back here by 3 o'clock or 1500 in the evening for my watch, say somebody covers it. They do that 4 hours for me. So now I don't have to be back until 8 o'clock. Well, the only way that works out is for me to then cover his watch or her watch. So I was on 4 hours of sleep. I went to town. I had somebody cover my later watch, so I got to spend all day in town. But now I get back and I got to cover his watch. That even shrinks your sleeping schedule down the next day even more. You know, that's just my part. Okay. So part of that, back to the question of, do we even travel to these exotic places or these other countries because, oh, it's all done foreignly, you know, all the shipping now is foreign. It's not, okay? There's still plenty of ships that go to other countries, other exotic places, what you might say exotic, and so what those are typically called though are the sweetheart gigs or the sweetheart contracts. That's kind of the slang term that we have for them out here, and I've kind of heard different variations of what people say the sweetheart gig is, but you have these ships, which is this is a standard contract ship, and then you have the sweetheart gigs. So the standard contract gigs are typically for higher senior A-book guys. A-book seniority guys can get the permanent positions on here, and B-books might have the chance to take the reliefs, do a relief spot on here for 60 or 90 days, but I can't get a permanent position on here until I'm an A-book. Now these standard contract ships are typically the higher paying ships. So an A-book member who spent 8-10 years with the union has that seniority to become a permanent on a high-paying ship, a high-paying standard contract ship. These standard contract ships though typically have the exact same run. They're not bouncing around, going to exotic places, going all over the place. They have a set run where it's time and money. So port to port, you know, like here, Tacoma to Anchorage, Tacoma to Anchorage, Tacoma to Anchorage. And we're on a tight schedule because the faster we get back and forth, the more the money keeps rolling. So it can be boring compared to one of the sweetheart gigs or sweetheart contracts, which are going to all these other foreign countries. But the reason why they're basically called sweetheart contracts is because you're not gonna be doing them for the money. If you're doing it for the, you know, if you're wanting to travel to all these foreign places, you're gonna get to these foreign places, but what you're getting paid to go to these places is not gonna be all that grand, okay? You might not even get the overtime. So that's why it's called like the sweetheart contracts or the sweetheart gigs, because you're doing it out of either the love for sailing or just the love for travel. You're not doing it to make money like somebody who's on a standard contract that isn't going to all these grand places. I'm in it for the money. I don't care about seeing all these other places, because back to the other point, even if you're on this sweetheart gig and you're not getting paid diddly squat, you get to that place and you want to go to port, it's not like the ship shows up and you can just leave. You still have to work. So you're gonna be sacrificing sleep, okay? Or you're gonna be, somebody's gonna be covering your watch and you do get to go out to town. But then again, you have to come back, cover their watch, and sacrifice even more sleep. I like my sleep, and I like my money. So that's today's discussion. I hope it all made sense. I hope, you know, I got my point across of how it kind of, you know, what society thinks we do out here and what it really is like out here. A lot of you new guys and gals that are becoming sailors or sailorettes, you know, if you're doing it for the travel, know that you're gonna do it for the travel and not make a lot of money. Make practically the same kind of money you can make on land, but you're getting to travel to a bunch of places. But if you want to see those places, you're going to be giving up even more money and giving up even more sleep. Now, if you're doing it for the money and you don't care about seeing exotic places, perfect. But there's still sacrifices in that. You know, you're gone for a bunch of time. For me, it's a combination of the money and the vacation. Because on that vacation, I could do whatever I want for however long I want, as long as my money lasts. Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.